we are going to talk about just a few little quick tips that I can give you. Somebody talked about how to hold the camera to not feel like you're getting some triple chin action. Listen, it's super easy. You just have to make sure that your camera is at eye level. Now, I want to do a little thing for you. I'm going to look at the camera, and then I'm going to look at myself. I'm on an iPhone, okay? I'm going to look at the camera. Hey, how's it going? And then I'm going to look at myself. Which one? It's a very slight difference, but which one feels more connected? The camera hole on an iPhone is at the top, okay? If you are recording on an Android, I think it's a little bit off to the side. If you're recording on a laptop, it's at the top. So it's very, very, very tempting to want to look at yourself. Oh, you're so sweet, Lavon. I'm so glad you're here. It's very tempting to look at yourself. I mean, it's not narcissism. It's like another person. You're like, oh, I want to talk to me, right? But really try and focus on the little hole, the camera hole. Now, if you're doing a live video like I am right now, my camera is like this, because on Facebook, if you turn it sideways, it's gonna make you sideways. Same thing with Instagram. However, if you're doing a longer video, like for YouTube, you turn the camera sideways. You turn the phone sideways. Now, if you are like using a real badass camera, then you are already like 20 steps ahead of most of us entrepreneurs just doing it on our iPhone, because iPhones have really great cameras. But if you have a real camera, then obviously you're gonna look at the camera hole on your real camera. Again, if you're on your laptop, try to still look at the camera hole. If you're on your iPhone, camera hole, camera hole, camera hole, camera hole. So if you turn it sideways, where do you think you're gonna look? At the camera hole. Ding, ding, ding. You guys are quick, catching on, right? If you look at yourself, then because it's sideways, you're gonna get this kind of weird thing. Hey everybody, I'm just gonna like kind of talk to you, but not really. Cool? So that's where to look. I kind of skipped over. Now, I skipped over the first one. Now, how to hold the camera. So again, if you're using an iPhone, you want it at eye, you want the camera hole at eye level so that you don't have to do this and you don't have to do this. Now, sometimes people do like to hold it a little bit higher because they might want to get the background. Like say you're doing something in your stories and it's really casual and you're just like, hey, I just want to show you what I'm doing, you know, do a little one of these. Also, people think like their angle looks great if it's up, you know, you kind of get the down angle, so that's totally fine. But again, if you're doing something more polished for YouTube or maybe IGTV, then I would suggest turning it sideways, having it at eye level. Get yourself a tripod, get yourself something your phone can stand on so that you can, it's not gonna be wobbly, it's gonna be at eye level. Ideally, you want like from waist up so you can have a little bit of hands going on, right? But you don't want to be too far away. Now today I actually don't have my mic in because, long story, but I lost the adapter when I went away. So it might be a little bit echoey, but we are not talking about sound today. We're just talking about camera. I can do that in another training when I hopefully find my adapter. Okay, so keep it at eye level so that you don't do so much of this, right? If it's down here, you're gonna get triple chin. And ideally don't hold it. You know, again, if you're doing like a quick stories, then you can hold it like, hey guys, what's going on? I'm just gonna tell you about this food I'm cooking or whatever, you know, something like that. But if it's something more polished, something that you want to keep there forever, maybe it's a training that you're working on, right? Something that you just want to look a little bit more top notch, turn it sideways, put it on a tripod, look at the camera hole. Always look at the camera hole. Finally, how to feel less awkward. Patricia asked this question. That's a trickier one, right? There's a few things involved here. Body, mind. Basically, that's it. So for me, to feel better, to feel more comfortable, I have to move my body every day. And I have to warm up. Right? I asked in this group how people prepare, and everybody's like, oh, I prepare my script or I prepare my mindset. Well, you gotta prepare your body and your voice too. That's the holistic side of speaking. You are not just words coming out of your mouth. You're not just a mind spewing information. You are a full body. I know, I really shouldn't talk about it. This room is very echoey. Lavon said she didn't notice the echo. Yeah, I put up to like a lot of stuff, and I usually throw like pillows and stuff on the floor just to get the, have something to absorb the sound, because my room is really, there's not even a carpet in here and it's really bare. So that's why I use a microphone to kind of delete that background noise. You also might hear my kids, but you know, such is life in live video world. Okay, so move your body, right? That's the first thing. That's gonna help you just like get grounded, get those jitters out. Then, like we've been talking about, don't look at yourself. Try to look at the camera. If you're doing Zoom and say you're doing a PowerPoint, I think Patricia said she does a lot of PowerPoints. Your image when you're doing a PowerPoint, if you're doing it on Loom or Zoom, is really small. You just put it off to the corner and you continue looking at the camera. Because I think the more we see ourselves, the more we're like, oh my God, like I do it too, you know, every now and then I glance at my appearance rather than staring at the camera hole, and then I get all like in my head about it. So if you are using an iPhone, another option is to just turn it around and look at the camera hole. And then you're looking at this, you're not looking at yourself. Okay, now last thing is you can visualize your audience. Have a very clear picture of the person or people that you're talking to, and then it's gonna feel more like a conversation rather than you just talking at them. This is something that I've learned through acting, right? Like doing monologues, we're never just doing a monologue, we're always having a dialogue with another person. And so we really want to visualize that other person, visualize your ideal client on the other side of the camera, on the other side of the world, taking it all in and being a part of your conversation. And then finally, don't overjudge. If you are watching your videos and you're like, oh, my nose is big, and why did I do that with my hand? And oh my God, I do that too, guys. Full transparency. We are our toughest critics. This is not about being perfect. So I was actually on a call with a client today, and she's like, you know, I love, Juliet, you're here, you're gonna love this. She's like, I love Jennifer Garner, and she does these great stories, and she's cooking in her kitchen, and she talks, and she's just so natural. And I'm like, Jennifer Garner is a professional actress. She has spent her whole life in front of a camera and got paid for it. She's trained to do that. And you might see a lot of entrepreneurs come on here and they look like they're really killing it. Guess what? A lot of them have theater backgrounds, or have been dancing, or have been doing public speaking in their life. So we are all at different stages in our journey. And what they might look like they're crushing it on video, but you're crushing it in some other way, right? Don't compare where you are here to like Jennifer Garner or like Brad Pitt, who's like, oh, he's just so comfortable on camera. Yeah, he's an actor. So, you know, really, and don't expect perfection, right? The best way to feel less awkward is by doing it. I felt awkward too. There's moments where I still feel awkward. It's not a natural thing. This is not something we grew up doing, like, oh, just talk to yourself on camera, right? This is relatively new, and most of us here in this space are not Gen Z. We didn't grow up with social media. So give yourself some grace. Judge yourself like you would your best friend. When you watch yourself on video, pretend that that's your best friend, because you should be your own best friend. And be like, wow, a year ago you never did this, and now look at what you're doing. You're putting yourself out there in service of others.